Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. And yeah, I haven't really done one of these in a while. Partly because it was the international break and watching the comedy stylings of Cyrus Christie and Kieran Clark almost made me want to throw my TV out of window. You think ye have problems?
Oh no, Harry Kane is unfit. We only beat Switzerland 1-0.
We just lost 4-1 to Wales. Try relying on John Walters up front, alright? A man who looks like he's been injecting nothing but butter and milkshakes into his veins for the last 2 years. But anyway, this isn't a rant about Ireland today, thank Christ. Unlike Roy Keane, I'm gonna remain fairly composed about the whole situation, alright?
Fuck you, Declan Rice, you treacherous piece of shit.
Instead, let's just take a look at what's been going on in the Premier League.
I think our style at Everton then was as good as MD. I actually think that we were probably a centre forward away from being contenders for the Premier League.
You stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what a midlife crisis looks like. Remember David Moyes? That man who used to have a career that one time? Says he who earns a living shouting into a camera in a room that still smells of rat piss. But Moyes, oh Moyes, he actually thought Everton were one striker away from winning the Premier League. There are so many things wrong with this, I don't even know where to begin.
I was here for 11.5 years and I think by the time we finished we had a great team. We had Mikel Arteta, Stephen Pienaar, Leighton Baines, Seamus Coleman, Sylvain Distin, Phil Jagielka, but you could go on with the players we had.
Could you though? Like, oh, Phil Neville, Brian Oviedo, Victor, and Nietzsche.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Most of these players just ended up at Sunderland. Does that not tell you anything? During his last season, where he seems to think he built a great team, this fantastic side managed to lose to the likes of West Brom, Reading, Norwich, Sunderland, Leeds, and Wigan. Darren Gibson was still in the team. Like how? How does this man think he ever had a chance of winning the league? Sylvain Distin and Phil Jagielka, yeah, decent players, but they're not going to win a fucking league title together. Everton did actually take a top quality striker as soon as Moyes left the building. Lukaku came in. Yeah, they still finished 5th. I mean, this is the man who managed to walk into Old Trafford and drag the champions into 7th. This is a man who managed to do what no Sunderland boss had done in 12 years, and there has been a lot of them. Get relegated. His personal trophy cabinet is about as empty as Katie Hopkins' soul. He did well at Everton, but he clearly has a level. Anyway, moving on. Man United travelled to Watford, who were beginning life without Harry the Hornet after the mascot sensationally quit after Roy Hodgson branded him a disgrace. By the way, if you're wondering what the man inside the suit looked like, guarantee you don't give a shit. Well, this is him. A fella who looks like a failed Love Island contestant. Man United beat Watford with Tom Cleverley sitting in the studio offering his expert analysis on how to become a bang average footballer. Lukaku opened the scoring before Chris Smalling doubled it, although why he's modelling his latest haircut on a bowl of stale pasta, I have no idea. Just like Demi Lovato after a night out on the tiles, it looks like Man United are slowly recovering. And it's a good warm-up for their Champions League game against Young Boys, a game which Gary Glitter probably has underlined in his TV guide. Eden Hazard had fun this weekend, snorting 3 lines of coke off a fat one's arse in the disabled bathroom of his local Tesco. Oh wait, no, that was my landlord's weekend. I have a very unstable living situation. Hazard instead bagged himself his first hat-trick in nearly 5 years, and then proceeded to celebrate dressed in his finest tablecloth. But considering Hazard's goals were against a defence which included Sol Bamba, a man who Neil Warnock claims is a better defender than Virgil van Dijk, and fair play. Cardiff had actually scored the first goal through Bamba, although their lead lasted about as long as Machine Gun Kelly's career. It was a routine 4-1 win for Chelsea in the end. Kante also ended up at some randomer's house for curry, FIFA match of the day, and a sneaky tug under the kitchen table. One of those is a lie. Guess which one? Thank Christ this lad didn't turn out to be a Spurs fan, or Kante could have found himself chopped into 1,000 pieces and hidden in the f***ing sewers. A similar story happened with Daniel Radcliffe when he randomly ended up on the piss with the Dublin minor football team. I know what you're thinking, by the way, football minors, why wasn't Adam Johnson invited? But also, look at the absolute state of him. Christ above, more like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hangover, am I right? I said more like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hangover. Is this thing on? Man City took on an informed Fulham side, who have now won 4 kits already this season, and we've barely played 5 games. Jesus Christ, I mean, it was a fairly routine win for City. Fulham didn't have a sniff. Leroy Sané, David Silva and Raheem Sterling with the goals. Now usually mascots come in all different shapes and sizes, right? I mean, they're usually a bunch of 7-year-old kids. Although this Dutch team looked like they dragged out half the models out of Ann Summers, feminists everywhere would have had a field day. But City gave debuts to these ladies, aged 97 and 102. It's days like this that make Wayne Rooney wish he hadn't left Manchester. Benjamin Mendy missed the game with an injury and took to Twitter, Christ above is he ever off the f***ing thing.
So many broken hearts today, sorry for letting you guys down.
Considering over 2 million people have him in their fancy league team, 30,000 captained him, who captains a f***ing defender? One of my friends actually had him in his team. He also has Kalichi Iheanacho, Holabas, Abubakar Kamara. I know what you're thinking, and yes, this man was dropped on his head as a child. Repeatedly, I mean his mother used him as a in basketball. Newcastle took on Arsenal this weekend. Actually, you know what? No, they didn't. That wasn't Newcastle. That thing, whatever resides on the pitch of St James's Park these days, that's not Newcastle United. At least that's not what the club is all about. I mean, over the last 10 years, yeah, that's exactly what the club is. It's all been heading this way ever since Mike actually swigged the pint down the Emirates. I mean, fair play to the players. I mean, they graft hard. You can't question their commitment, but you can definitely question their quality. They are nowhere near good enough for Newcastle United. They're not. Would any of these players have started for Newcastle in the past? I mean, yeah, Jamal Lascelles for sure, because Titus Bramble was a walking case of defensive diarrhea. But the rest, Solomon Rondon is supposed to be the answer. Then what the f is the question? John Joe Shelby is a good player, but again, under the likes of Sir Bobby Robson, he wouldn't even have made the f***ing bench. This man is running the club into the ground. And you have to feel sorry for the fans. Either sell up or invest some money. You have a world-class manager at the club. Somehow, I mean, do you not want to have a bit of ambition in your life? Not just flogging a bunch of clothes and treating your cholesterol with the same mercy that Chris Brown showed Rihanna. Because I promise you, if Rafa leaves the club and oh, he will, if you keep this up. And by this, I mean nothing. Nobody is gonna want to work for you unless their name is Alan Pardew or Joe f***ing Kinnear. And if that means nothing to you, this club will get relegated for a third time under your tenure. Imagine that. 3 relegations in just over 10 years as an owner, when the club hadn't been relegated once in the Premier League before you came in. Do you think that's a job well done? Because to me, that looks like an absolute shit show. This squad is only slightly better than the West Brom one that finished bottom of the table last year. I'm not even joking. He's playing with fire here. I mean, you have Rafa. It's like some 4-foot midget with erectile dysfunction having somehow bagged a supermodel, and then he just proceeds to ignore her, dodge her texts, and forget her birthday. Like, does this man not realize how lucky he is? Just give him money. He's like Michelangelo trying to paint the Sistine Chapel with a box of crayons. Just give him the tools. It's not hard. He's won a Champions League with Milan Baros, for Christ's sake. He doesn't need much, but he does need something. Definitely needs more than Isaac Hayden in centre mid. Anyway, Arsenal turned up, barely had to get out of third gear, and yeah, strolled to a 2-1 victory. It was a lot more comfortable than the scoreline suggests. Xhaka and Ozil scored for the visitors. Kieran Clark scored in the last minute for Newcastle. Surprised he was able to show his face again after that Wales display, but Super Sunday kicked off with Wolves versus Burnley. A game which on the face of it offers about as much excitement as a night with Theresa May. Watching it was no picnic either. It was like trying to digest a bowl of dried twigs. Burnley are now bottom of the league. Lads, what's going on? You're not in Europe anymore. Would you cop on to yourselves? Wolves, who have injected the club with about 3 gallons of Portuguese talent, look good. But 30 shots at goal? Seriously? Raul Jimenez got the winner. But if it wasn't for the heroics of the shampoo expert between the sticks, it could have been 4 or 5. Sean Dyche, you need to sort things out. For the love of God, clear your goddamn throat. The poor f***er sounds like he's been eating gravel for breakfast. I've got to say though, Wolves do look great. I remember the last time they were in the Premier League with Kevin Doyle, Carl Henry, and God save us all, Jamie O'Hara. With poor old Terry Connors in charge, a man who looked about as confident as a Mormon on his wedding night. This time last year, Tottenham beat Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley in a game where Dejan Lovren, one of the world's greatest centre halves, don't you know, played like a drugged up giraffe. Fast forward a year and Liverpool win 2-1, but lads, it could have been 4 or 5. I mean, seriously, Spurs were all over the shop. They're in a bit of a mess at the moment. I mean, like, if Hugo Lloris wasn't a footballer, he'd be looking forward to 6 months of showering with his arse firmly against the wall. After the Spurs team looked completely shattered, not really surprising when they all played in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Why did Mauricio Pochettino not sign anyone? I feel like that one's gonna come back and bite him in the arse. Leicester got pummeled 4-2 at Bournemouth. Wes Morgan, I know he's a Premier League champion, but he played as though he'd just been introduced to football about half an hour before the game, while Harry Maguire, 80 million for him. What? That's like spending 50 quid on a ham and cheese sandwich. Moving on to Huddersfield versus Crystal Palace. Let's be honest, most of the people probably switched off Match of the Day by the time this one came on. It looked pretty dull, but Wilfred Zaha got kicked a lot and moaned. He also scored a nice goal. Though I do have to say, how England let him slip through their fingers is a bit of a joke. Anyway, that's the end of the video. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.